All right, let's move on to the second topic of the day.
And the second topic of the day comes from Don Anderson II. So my question to you is, Mission Impossible Fallout was amazing. But with the way it ended, do you think there will be a seventh? As much as I love seeing Tom Cruise kill it in these movies, I don't know what story they can tell after Fallout. Me personally, I'd be excited to see another, but I'd be okay if Fallout was the last one.
You know, there's this thing, Robert.
I was going to say, what do you think, John?
There's this thing that goes around, and we see this in sports a lot of times, right? Okay, some great all-star athlete has an amazing, impeccable career. They're nearing the end of their career. They're still good, and people say, well, they need to retire now. They need to walk away now where they're on the top of the game. And my thought has always been, well, wait a minute, time out for a second. If so-and-so is still a great athlete, and they love the game and they love playing the game, and they're still good enough to be a professional in this league, why should we punish them for their success and say, you can't play anymore? With the Tom Cruise and Mission Impossible thing, they've had great success. We're on our sixth film. Kudos to them. And I've heard some people whispering, okay, time to cut it off, time to stop it now. Why? These guys are on a roll. Now, I don't think Mission Impossible Fallout was quite as good as, say, Ghost Protocol, but these things just keep ramping up more and more. Tom Cruise is getting more and more daring. And as far as box office, let's take a look at how these movies have performed with the audience. Look, we're starting off with the first Mission Impossible made $475 million. Mission Impossible 2 made $546 million. Mission Impossible 3, lowest of all of them, probably the worst of the. Well, actually, I thought the second was the worst. But anyway,
it was a glorified episode of Alias.
Yeah, $98 million. But then they really started finding their groove. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol comes out $694 million. Then Mission Impossible Rogue Nation comes out $682 million. And now this one, the highest grossing of all time of this franchise, makes $790+ million. And remember, this is not like a Star Wars or an MCU thing where every movie is connected to the other one. There are some, obviously, narrative ties between some of these films, but for the most part, they're treated like episodic events of a television series. When that's the case, just move on to the next story. All right? I mean, I don't see why. And look, we already know Tom Cruise. We've heard, who is this? McQuarrie.
Right.
Christopher McQuarrie.
McHugh.
McQuarrie has already said that Tom Cruise has some insane ideas for number 7 and they're really excited about it. So we know they're looking towards it, but my point of view is, look, you're on a roll, you're getting more and more successful, the audience is loving this franchise more and more every year, and you're still doing them well, and they're making money. Why stop? I don't see any reason to stop.
Look, I agree with you, and there's things happening in the world, such as Richard Branson is finally going to go to space. He's finally going to go take...
That's right.
He's privatizing space. People can go into space. I guarantee you, Tom Cruise is going to be, it's either going to be Tom Cruise or James Cameron are going to space. Who will get there first? Who will film the first narrative feature in orbit?
Well, remember,
and it's either going to be Mission Impossible and Tom Cruise, or it's going to be James Cameron and I don't know what.
Or Vin Diesel in Fast and the Furious in Outer Space. But don't forget, like, Tom Cruise has already gone suborbital for the Mummy, for that zero-G gravity thing in the plane, which when you watch the feature on that stunt, it's crazy. He did his Halo dive in Fallout.
Many times.
He's only like half a kilometer away at this point from being in outer space anyway.
I mean, I want to see that. I want to see Tom Cruise in space.
And he's going to have NASA teach him how to fly a space shuttle, so he actually pilots this himself.
He will pilot. I mean, he's learning how to pilot. He's flying jets for Top Gun Maverick.
Yeah, the official reason they stated for delaying Top Gun Maverick is Tom Cruise decided he wanted to actually be behind the stick. Yeah, they're teaching him how to fly military-grade fighter jets.
Don't you want to live in a world where this kind of thing is going on? I do. With all the craziness that happens in the world, I just want to know that there's an actor like Tom Cruise who is flying fighter jets, who's going to go suborbital and then orbital. Perhaps he'll be the first man on Mars.
I wouldn't doubt at this point.